have a very unrealistic, simplistic view of how to get going. But to your point, Adam, their enthusiasm is great. You know, it's just great. But it can be diffused pretty quickly when you're first, you know, how you gonna? I ask a couple basic questions. Well, who's gonna be the designer here? How are those gonna be done? That's when Threadless came up.
Right.
Threadless is a great company. Still has the concept still great.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of Threadless, take a look at them. But basically, what they do is they have the folks, you know, the great unwashed, you know, will design T-shirts. People vote on them, and then there's a winner, and then they produce those shirts. Because
so
they know that they're pre-sold, so they don't have to worry about, well, gee, if I design, you know, shirt A or shirt B, will people buy it? People vote on it. People are already placing orders for the shirt. So it's
That's
a great,
right. They create the demand online, and basically they have a winner. They drop then the order on the manufacturer, and they're, to your point, pretty much almost pre-sold.
Right.
And what a great way to do business.
Well, enthusiasm is important, but I think you mentioned something else too, Jack. So that they had a couple of orders that they had, or a couple of folks that were looking to buy it. So having your first sale, that's always very, very good too. People often don't have that in mind. Say, I have an idea for a product or service, but I have no idea if anybody's willing to buy this thing, right? But if I have a customer who's looking to buy stuff, that's always a great.
That's always, and then when you have something as low priced as a T-shirt, though, that's pretty tough. Coming back to Threadless, where they're proving out a market and a demand, you know, because your Uncle Charlie likes your T-shirt, he'll buy one. But how are you going to get the rest of them? How are you going to put that marketing plan together to basically sell your T-shirts? How do you do that? Well, they're going to be in for a rude awakening when they get going. I'm going to be tracking this to see how long it goes, throwing in some advice a little bit from time to time. I certainly don't want to own it, and I mean that being I don't want to put in a lot of time coaching 18, 19-year-olds here. We've both had our share doing that. Things like junior achievement.
Sure.
We're local here, St. Ed's, working with one of the high schools, trying to get involved in their business planning. A lot of high schools are starting to create business plan competition and try to teach business and entrepreneurism. And Adam and I like to sit back and watch these attempts, and knowing with our 15 years of experience in coaching small businesses how difficult it is to communicate quickly, especially with somebody who has very little life's experiences, period, not just lacking business experience.
I was just going to say on that front, Jack, you can't teach experience. So what these college kids are going to learn is they're going to get some good experience. Now, I'm guessing they're in a relatively okay position in terms of, again, they're in school. So if they make a go of this thing and it doesn't quite work, they aren't going to lose big. They aren't going to be out of house and home because they're doing this as an aside to go into class and whatever else they're doing as part of school, right? So it's a pretty good petri dish, if you will, in terms of trying to figure some of this stuff out. You know, I applaud them going out and doing it because, again, most folks are going to spend their free time doing something else. It may not be as productive or as instructional for them. So chances are they're probably going to fail. That's okay.
That's
right. Fail now, learn from it, and then don't let it. Failure not being to have you stop doing it, but to learn from that. Okay, how do I now accelerate that, make it happen faster, or not make those same mistakes next time around? How do I make sure I keep pushing ahead? Not only kill the business, but okay, you adjust and keep reinventing yourself to be able to move forward.
Yeah, somewhere you need to gather knowledge and true hands-on experience. There's nothing like that, but it also has to be done in the context of something a little bit bigger. That's what we like to do. That's what we like to teach. You know, with the successful tracks that we have identified and teach existing business owners, not just startup, you know, how to really make money in their company, how to do this.
All right, so if and your grandson's better than most because he's had a lot of time with you and he's had a chance to kind of start something up himself, so he's got much more experience. I'm guessing probably why
they're looking to him.
Yeah, they figure, hey, you know more than we do, so at least they're at the point where they appreciate that they don't know what they don't know, or that there's a lot that they can learn. You know, one of the best things for him to be asking, which is a version of what you're asking, is, well, what's the plan?
That's right.
Right?
That's the magic phrase, isn't it? That's the magic question.
So
what's the plan?
Well, how do you plan the business? And that question should never stop being asked about what's going on. So what's the plan? And how do you go about planning things? So many folks don't take time to plan. It's easy to kind of get caught up in day-to-day stuff and not take the time to plan.
Who has
You're
time
busy
to plan, Adam? You know, how do I know what's going to happen tomorrow? No less next week and 2 months from now. Why should I waste all the time planning? We hear that a lot, don't we?
We hear some of that. But part of it too is, well, yeah, I don't have time to plan. So if you're one of those I don't have time to plan, what I challenge you to do is to take out your calendar right now. Here we are, beginning of March. Look at May. How booked is your calendar in May? I gotta believe you got some openings in May.
You're right. Everybody does.
Okay, so you take a day or two and just block those times off.
Oh, wait
Figure
a
out what you're
minute.
gonna do.
I'm too busy to plan, though. I'm too busy to plan because I got to keep addressing all these random problems
So
that
starting
keep coming at me day in and day out.
so starting with putting a day or two in your calendar in May back to plan. That's the starting point for how to plan your business. And it's key. So make sure one of the things you do is you get out of the routine. Even go somewhere. We like to do that kind of stuff, right,
We
Jack?
do. In fact, we're going somewhere in a week from now.
We are.
We're heading down to Arizona for the spring training of Cleveland Indians.
It's the annual MVP spring training planning sessions.
That's right. 3 nights in Arizona. We like to leave with the storms brewing here in typical March fashion, and go to the sunny climes and the laid back baseball environment. Really makes our planning really very productive.
Yes,
Good
it
stuff.
does.
Good
Well,
stuff.
we have at least 4 hours, if not more, flights both ways. We get lots of planning done on the flights because you're locked in. You're locked out from the world. That's part of the beauty of flying is you're locked in there, and so you can focus. You don't have the interruptions you often get on the outside. And you've got lots of time to be able to kind of plan in a different environment. So why wouldn't you want to plan where it's nice and sunny and warm and just be outside when it's kind of snowy somewhere?
Your only distractions are baseball and palm trees and what are we going to have for dinner tonight? And it really lets you flow ideas pretty good. Yeah, we go in there with a little bit of a structure and things we want to try to accomplish, and it gives us the opportunity to do it without breaking like that. A year goes by because your daily activities are consuming all your time, and that's what happens with most small business owners. They don't often enough stand back and take a look at their business and take a look at, hey, just what am I doing here? You know, try to come to peace with it all.
Sure.
And it can work wonders.
So how do you plan your business starts with how do you find time to plan? That's where I think it starts, and it's probably one of the biggest gating items. And so again, I'll challenge everybody there to look out 2 months from now. And look out your calendars, pick 2 days, put them in there, and hold to them. Don't let them go. Hold to those things, and start with that. We'll come back with some more details and get back from the break here, but start with that. While we're at the break, go find your calendar. Find 2 days in May that you're gonna push off and say, here, I'm blocking these 2 days off for me to do some planning. So do that during the break. When we come back, we'll talk about this a little bit more. I'm Adam Sunhalter.
And I'm Jack Mancini with Maximum Value Partners. We are business coaches, and we can help you small business owners get unstuck from a state of how.